afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
In other words, shut up!
Can I suggest that any of you who are hard of hearing or sympathetic to those who need to say something, can you move a bit further forward? Good afternoon. For those who are lucky enough not to know me, I'm Alan Wynne, previous Chief Executive here at the museum, and I've worked with Tony for about 15 years. I'd just like to welcome everybody here to Brooklands Museum, Tony's second home. It's fantastic that we're all able to come back here to share some more memories of Tony. I'm not the main act. The main act is going to appear on the screen shortly. But I just wanted to say a few more things about Tony. As was rehearsed earlier, he first got attracted into the Brooklands orbit through being one of the experts laid on to help dismantle the Hawker Hunter that came here from Brooklands College. And from there he was slowly reeled into Andy Lambert's orbit and became part of what we know now. The important thing is that that was in 1989. He formally became a volunteer because we started formally logging volunteers in 1992. So January 1992, 34 years ago, was when he officially became a volunteer here. So he would have been entitled to the very rare 35-year service badge in January next year. So it's pity he didn't get the formal 35, but we know he worked for us for at least 35 years. Now, although he didn't come through the natural route for people coming from British Aerospace, so many of them just collected their redundancy checks and walked across the yard and became volunteers. Tony took a slightly more circuitous route, but what he brought with him were those engineering skills and problem-solving abilities that made him an essential member of the team here. He never wanted to be a team leader, he never wanted to be front of house or in the limelight, and he was happiest doing the things that he liked doing in the company of the people he liked doing things with. He liked doing anything in a team led by Andy, or if Andy wasn't around, Julian or John Pulford. Was quite happy to work for them as well. Preferably, anything he was doing involved aeroplanes or related aeroplane items. Preferably as big or as challenging as possible. And preferably it involved lifting or moving them with Millie. And I hope you've all seen Millie in her new clothes parked outside. She's halfway through becoming a London transport recovery vehicle, not the bronze and brown machine that she was in National Rescue days. But if it couldn't be any of that, if it wasn't aeroplanes, then old vehicles, obviously, and especially fixing or restoring Millie, which he devoted an awful lot of time to over the years. As was mentioned earlier on, Tony did have an extremely dry sense of humour, and he didn't mind or care who he exercised it on. It didn't matter if you were the chairman of the trustees, the chief executive definitely, or one of the other volunteers, you could be the butt of several of Tony's jokes in about 5 minutes. Tony also wasn't necessarily the first person here in the morning for any task that was but he would be here late in the evening, making sure the job was finished, and that was always the big thing. But there was always tea, and tea in a crew room, swapping yarns with people. That was Tony. His mark, of course, is around here everywhere, and this is the greatest memorial in many ways to Tony. Is the aeroplanes that were dismantled, moved here, re-erected, like the Viking, like the Harrier, like the Hunter we mentioned earlier, the Hawk that he was working on even in recent times. Aeroplanes shuffled around when he had to take them apart and move them and put them back together. A lot of the work on Concorde, you can see Tony in that. Aeroplanes going off out to shows and things in other places, take them apart, put them on the truck, put them together at the other end, take them apart, put them on the truck, bring them back here. Tony was all involved in that. Heavy, awkward items picked up. Somewhere there is a 10-ton concrete block here that was part of an undercarriage testing unit or something.
And it tested Millie to her extreme.
And Tony sitting on top of Millie, moving levers, moving things like that. He was in his element. Indeed, moving the top of an airport control tower and dropping it where the then museum management probably didn't expect to find it. And of course, playing with old vehicles, especially old commercial vehicles like our fire engine here, the very rare Crossley. There is evidence of Tony using paint which was allegedly laid in for painting a Hawker Hunter to paint a Morris Minor for Julian Temple. Can't imagine how that could have happened. But Tony, as ever, was the consummate worker who put the paint on the Minor and underlined his commitment to quality in doing so, telling Julian that it's 90% preparation and only 10% of it was the paint being put on afterwards. He was a very skilled and very careful craftsman. And there were lots of people who Tony did work with closely, people like Martin, obviously Andy and his team, the late Paul Godfrey, all those people naturally gelled together into a little group that was Tony. And he did unusual things. It was mentioned earlier at the crematorium that Tony had been doing odd collection jobs, moving stuff around, driving jobs for National Rescue. And they included really weird things like going to the south coast and picking up a gearbox for the Vickers Vinny, which now lives here, but back in the day when I was just about to go to Australia and needed these spare parts, and Tony was off collecting things like that. Shortly you're going to see a video. Some of it you will see Tony front and centre, but it was quite difficult at times to get Tony into the shot. Often it was because he was driving the camera, and other times it was because he was hiding, not wishing to be the front man. But fortunately, over the last 40 years, Andy has captured just enough to give you a real flavour of Tony the man, Tony the volunteer, and Tony the friend who will all miss so much. And I'm really glad that you're all here to say goodbye to him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, I'm not going to say a lot. First of all, thanks for coming, everybody. And we go a big special thanks to Julian for laying on the weather as he always did when we did the gathering. Tony. Yeah. I don't need to tell you what Brooklands owes Tony. I think all of us in this room know that. And I don't need to tell any of you how much he's going to be missed, because obviously he was a very special person. I first met him when we did the Hunter, as has been mentioned earlier on, and he was impressed by the way recovery operators do not need a specialised tool. They grab what's on the truck and they make it fit and somehow get the job done. And that's why he gravitated towards National Rescue, and he came to National Rescue, hung about, and eventually we gave him a job driving. And then when he left those places, he joined us full time, and then later on he went into another part of the group where he became a technician. His engineering skills, they were legendary. Julian's already said about what he's learned, and I've got to agree, I've learned an awful lot from Tony. I still saw a bit of metal and say to myself, no, don't do it that way or hit your knuckle on the box. One of the things he taught me, it's so bloody true. And I think Steve especially knows about his engineering skills because of the work he done with Steve, yeah. It could be a little bit difficult. As been intimated, he would always turn up late to a recovery job. He'd always stand about waiting for us. It's also said that he was a bit of a womaniser. Now, I can't possibly comment on that. I have to ask my wife, Julian's wife, Pete's wife, Paul's wife, Donna, and Celia, Maddie, and probably a few dozen others, but that was Tony. I'm now going to show a very short video which I think really says it all about the man.
Right. Ah! On the main road. Forward! Friday.
All you can see is a bald head. He's hiding that now.
Do what? I haven't actually got it in the air yet, but as soon as I can get the... Yes, fine! All right, that's it.
I think this is a disgusting state. It should have been thoroughly swept up, and I'm really ashamed of you, Andy. It's disgusting.
Tony, that's what you're going to do when we get back to the base.
Well, I suppose it's not as bad as all that, really. It would survive for the next sort of...
What are you trying to do, frighten me?
Just something you don't see every day, and Amos at work.
Hey, come on, mate! Angle right, it's the angle right.
Yeah.
Surfing airways. Can you do something with this hook? Come on, lads. Right up a bit. Go forward. Out. If anyone sounds some T-buzz on there, oh, get it on. Don't be like the French for camera. That look the same as it does on the picture.
You've got to stick your tongue out.
That'll be on YouTube tonight.
Looking forward.
You're on camera.
One for the tabloids.
There you go. Yes, of course, yes, by all means. Yeah.
When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand, and nothing, whoa, nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running. Oh yeah, babe, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, now all you got to do is call, and I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. You've got a friend. If the sky above you should turn dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind should begin to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud now. Soon I'll be knocking upon your door. You just call up my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running. Oh yes, I will see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, yeah. All you got to do is call, and I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, ain't it good to know that you've got a friend? People can be so cold, they'll hurt you and desert you. Well, they'll take your soul if you let them. Oh yeah, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Oh babe, don't you know about winter, spring, summer, or fall? Hey now all you you've got to do is call. Lord, I'll be there, yes I will. No, you've got a friend. You've got a friend, yeah. Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Oh yeah, yeah, you've got a friend.
Thank you. The whole thing about doing that, I'm sure there's quite a few of you was seeing so many faces in those videos that are no longer with us. And that was very hard because we're a dying breed. Excuse me. But yeah, it really is sad that so many of the people who were involved in the early days of Brooklands are no longer with us. And one by one we're going, and we just lost another one. And I think we should be quite sad, but at least he had a good innings, and he certainly enjoyed himself when he was here. On the way back here, the boys and myself were talking, and with the girls' permission, the breast cap that was on the coffin, we would like to speak to the bus museum and see if we can give it a permanent place in Millie, because he would have loved that. And that's really what I'm going to say. Thank you.
And now there's nothing that can knock me down. I'm gonna take whatever comes around. Together frown and turn it upside